Oh, and here we are. Yeah, we're finally up. Only an hour late, technically 4 hours late from when we were gonna originally start. We were planning to start at 3 today, but now we're starting at 7. Hey, welcome. This is the first test run. It's less of a test run and more of a setting everything up run while also scoring an episode. I'm going to be composing all of the music for a full episode of OKKO while y'all watch and chill with us. And we're gonna have our crew here at Mint Potion chilling with us as well. Um, we're gonna keep it. Is my mic on? Yeah, it is. Nice. I'm on. All right, good. I've started to check by myself without even being reminded, just as a habit. That's good, right? But it's usually like 3 minutes in after I've already said the most important stuff. None of that was that important, but we're gonna score OKKO tonight. It's gonna be rad. Literally. He's in this episode. Everyone is. All right, so first, let me do my rounds. Check in on chat here. Sask says, I heard the theme and was like, hell yeah, this rocks. And then a week later, I found out you wrote it. Ah, nice. Trolled you. You got vert rolled, son. It happens sometimes. I do some weird random stuff, man. I get into some random trouble all the time, and like sometimes you'll hear some weird thing and just be like, oh man, that strikes me, and you don't even know why, and it's because you've heard a lot of the person's other work, and you know you're familiar. It's a style that's familiar to you, so it strikes you, you know. If you'd hated it and then found out I did it, then I would have been more surprised, but not entirely. I wasn't sure how everyone was gonna take the theme because we wrote it and recorded it and had it, you know, super well produced and mixed and everything. Robbie did the mixing and mastering on it, and it sounds super dope. But I wasn't sure if people were gonna like it or think it was like fakey sounding or had bad throwback vibes or whatever. You know, you always have that kind of insecurity when you release stuff that's intended to be for a wide audience, because factually you can't please everyone, and your job on a TV show is kind of to please as many people as you can. So I wanted to make something that would make everybody groove and everybody get into the show, get excited about what was about to happen. So hey, we have a soundboard already. TMAD40 says Mint Potion soundboard during streams would be amazing. We have one. We just don't use it that much, especially during work streams. We were using it in small window a bunch, but haven't been using it as much on work streams. I can't hear it in here yet because I haven't routed it so that my headphones hear what's on the stream. When I want to be able to tune in and hear what's going on. Like what Ben is saying in the background, you know. If we were talking back and forth and he was like the Robin to my Howard Stern, you know. You gotta have a color commentator. But we're gonna work on that. We're gonna have that going during power blocks so that we have stuff going back and forth all the time and just keeping it up so it's a little less boring than just sitting here watching me concentrate. Oh hey, I have a thing up and loaded already. I loaded this project and scrubbed out the existing video ahead of time. I'm very wary about accidentally spoiling anything and showing the show on the stream, so I'm trying to take precautions to avoid that. Anytime I need to do a sensitive file move operation, we'll go to a break or put something else up or just change the camera, and that should help mitigate any accidental disclosures. But in general, I wanna show you the whole process. So what we're gonna start with today is cleaning up my awful, stupid project that I've gotten through 20 episodes now, more than that actually. And I've been using the same project and saving it as a new name each time I do a new episode. You just delete everything, save it, delete the tempo changes in it and everything. and then save as a new project, a new file name, and then just start over again. Because my orchestra is more or less settled. I don't change the volume on too many things, and if I do, it's just a quick little fix. So I have most of the instruments loaded that I've been using. The problem is there's 146 tracks. That's gross. I can't deal with it. It takes 5 minutes to load this project. I haven't even loaded the orchestra yet, so I'm going to do that now and show you just how long it takes. Every time I want to work on something else, I got to load this from scratch. All right, here we go. Hey, loading data, please wait. It's going to pop up some windows over here that you can't see, but it's loading everything. It's loading everything at once. The entire orchestra. And this is a trimmed down version of my full orchestra. And this is like an absolute top of the line Mac Pro with 128 gigs of RAM and crazy SSDs, and it still takes this long to load anytime I want to change projects because there's just so much stuff in this project. It's got to be able to score an entire episode without changing project. I load the video in, I score the entire thing in one. I just change the tempo when I need to move to a different track, or sometimes not. I try to avoid changing the tempo too often because a cartoon has a sort of a beat to it that once you get it like everything kind of falls into place. You want to keep the pace going and not use too many tempo changes. But if you're doing a disco song and then a happy little love song kind of, something downbeat, you have to change it then. And those are separate songs. And when that happens, I don't change to a new project. I just move to a different part of the project that has, further along in the video. And guys, no lie, that's been driving me crazy. When you look at a project and it's blank and it's 11 minutes long and there's nothing in it, and then you start to sketch out a track and you kind of move to a new one and you kind of sketch everything out, and then you go back and you realize like 8 hours later, whoa, I have, hey Jake, what's up? I have you realize I have 11 unfinished tracks or 15 unfinished tracks. You basically have like a piano sketch for everything. Congrats, you just busted all your energy doing that, and now you don't have the energy to finish anything. So doing that all in one sitting is crazy. I'm not gonna do it anymore. We're gonna start doing OKKO in installments. I'm gonna do the whole episode tonight because it's due tomorrow. But we've broken up the video into today. There are 12 different cues. There are actually 13. And a cue is a miniature song that goes under the cartoon. A cue is basically like KO falls down and breaks his butt, and there's music behind it. Hey, thank you. What up? Yo. I think we share frequencies with the guys next door using it because I made like sexy moaning sounds last time, and the guy called me a douche nozzle. I'm not even kidding. I think that might have been him just now. Do you want StarCraft codes? My luck. Yeah, I'm not even. Ladies and gentlemen, mint potion. We have a lot of fun here, but the most fun that we have here is making templates for Cubase. That's the most fun thing you can do. Guys, it's really boring and I don't really know how to do it too well. I can save a template, but I always end up just resaving over. But I want to be able to start with a fresh project and be like, I need a piano. Call up track preset, add track, new preset, folder preset. Are there folder presets? There better be. Using track preset. Okay, so yeah, I have all these like freaking factory Halion Sonic stuff, all experimental and jazz. Like I don't want those. I want to make my own. So, and I can filter it logically using the logical editor. See, Cubase is cool for stuff like this. I want to find out if I can make an entire group preset. Maybe I can save as export. No. Maybe track. All right, Cubase folder preset. Let's see what we find. Let's browse the Cubase forums. If anyone already knows how to do this, feel free to tell me. Folder preset. Track presets. Track presets for folder tracks. I bet you it's like, have you checked out using track archives? No, I haven't. Thanks for the tip. Tried it and it works. Yo, that never happens, right? It's like, oh, yeah, that's not supported. Maybe you can ask the developers. Or, oh, it seems to work fine for me. Maybe you reset your PRAM. Yo, I can't believe it. I tried it and it works. And it's from like a couple years ago, so it's more or less current. Okay. Great to be able to do this. I still think track presets would be a neater solution since there's the media bay system with the organized presets. I've never once used the media bay, and I've been using Cubase since 2003. I don't use any of the program specific extra hub features that are built into these programs. Like I know Ableton can post directly to SoundCloud, but I'm never ever going to use that. I'm going to render it out, bring it into SoundForge, analyze the wave, bring it into RX, look at it, make sure there's no weird hisses or transients. Like I can't just call it done and export directly from the tool. So a lot of these convenience features, they're almost entire programs in themselves. Look at this, the media bay. It's crazy. Hang on. Open pool window. All right, media bay. It's this elaborate like Steam big picture kind of. It's like the window in an RPG screen that tells you your troops that you can deploy. And this has got all kinds of like wave files in it, but I don't even know where it takes them from. I know you can customize it, file system, VST sounds, stuff like that. But I never browse this way. I already know what I want to load. It's like add track, instrument, freaking piano. Like I just need to have a piano just right now, and so I call up the VST. But if I can customize the track with its own mix, its own output routing, and stuff like that, that would be totally fantastic. So I'm going to look for track archives. I need to look in the manual and see how it works because I've never used them before. Welcome to Mint Potion, where we don't know what we're doing, but we will. Love you so much. Oh, hey, all right. Table of contents. Why is this so small? Come on, Jake. Yeah, let's make this go. Archive. No results found. No. Wait, this is just a quick start guide. Forget me. I'm on another planet right now. Documentation operation menu. Never be afraid to RTFM. Read the flippin' manual. Do it. Don't be afraid of manuals. They're well written these days. Even let's see. Even music software has pretty good, especially music software usually has pretty good manuals. Unless it's like first party developer console dev kits. And then word lock. Archive. Yeah, baby. Exporting and importing track archives. Cubase Pro only. That's what we have. Track archives. Oh, it's an archive of the entire track, not just a track preset. So it's like saving out a miniature micro project. I could save out. Oh, snapsicle. I'm so excited. Hang on. All right. Next match. Okay, great. I think if I just use this, it's going to make sense. Exporting tracks as track archives on page 1051. Don't just read the manual, search it. Okay, select the tracks you wish to export. Open the file menu, open the export submenu, and choose selected tracks. So I could just select the folder, presumably. Or maybe just all the different tracks. It'll save it as one package that I can import later, like all my strings tracks. Oh, so I don't have to have strings in a project unless I want them. All right, there's going to be two parts to this templating activity. The first is going to be doing this archiving thing so I can split out my project into multiple presets so I can call them up when I need them and only when I need them so my projects load faster. The second part will be, by the way, the orchestra finished loading. You didn't see it, but it's got everything. It's got a lot of stuff loaded right now. It is using, I have it cranked way the heck down. I have 86 gigs free. It's using 17 gigs. It'll start growing once I start playing stuff, and it loads the rest of the things that it needs to load. You know, it has cache and all that stuff. It's got cache money. All right, so let's see. First things first. So the second part of it will be making this persistent. In other words, you know when you log into a Minecraft server and the world is still there? Well, I want to be able to start a Cubase project. This is a separate program called Vienna Ensemble Pro. It runs my entire orchestra, or most of it anyway. Hey, what's up? Chef. It runs my whole orchestra, and it's a separate program from Cubase, so that if Cubase crashes, this won't go down with it. The problem is, I have it set up to non-persistent. So when I load one of these projects, it's going to load it every single time. It doesn't. I want the orchestra to still be there. I want to be able to load the orchestra once and have every project use the same setup. So there's a way to do that, and you can do that in Vienna, and we'll do that next. It's a preserved session, but I don't know the specifics of how it works because I've never set it up that way. I tried it once and it didn't work for some reason, and I just gave up and started saving them in the project. But this is one of the chief draws of Vienna Ensemble. It lets you preserve a session. So we'll get into that after we do the track archiving, or maybe at the same time, because I might augment, simplify, or otherwise optimize my orchestra loadout going forward. So I'm not going to be writing music for a little while. So if this bores you to tears, feel free to mute me and have me on in the background while I'm doing this. But if you want to stick around and watch the process of setting up a project, even cleaning one up that you've already had, this is going to be some hardcore work. And this is a project I use like all the time, every day. Like this is my default go-to rack for this show, and for Vanguard V, and for Octogeddon, and all the other stuff we're working on here. All right. So first things first. Let's make a catalog of what's loaded in Vienna versus what's loaded in Cubase, because I want to start offloading stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's loaded in Contact in Cubase, like even orchestra stuff. It's kind of split between the two programs, which is I have 42 VST instruments loaded. Oh, curse my world. There's so much stuff loaded in this program right now. I'm probably going to keep most of it loaded in here, honestly, because it's stuff like drums. But I could probably get rid of a lot of this because it's previous episode stuff. I don't have to get rid of it. I could just make it into a track archive. Heck yeah. All right. Let's make metal drums a track preset and see if I can recall it. Let's get that. So over here in the mixer window, you see notice different ones light up when I hit different drums. That's the kick is right here is S3 and 4. And then S5 and 6 is the snare. And the other stuff just goes into the normal bus output. I'm not miking it that closely. Because as long as we got the... And there's some bleed in... You see the metal drums lights up, the one that my hand is on here, lights up when I play anything. But if I play just the kick, let it go all the way down, you notice the snare also picks it up. That's because the samples are recorded with some bleed. In other words, when you have a microphone pointed at a snare drum, it's going to pick up some of the tom drums and some of the kick drum and some of the cymbals. So you get a little bit of everything. That's what makes it sound more like real drums in a room. Well, in this case, it's at the YMCA swimming pool, but indoor pool. But it sounds better when you hear all the texture added by the other mic. But only very subtly, because if it's too much, it'll phase cancel, and you get serious problems if your bleed is out of control. But a little bit is appropriate sometimes. for realism. All right, so let's go back. But the reason I showed you these different tracks is I want to see if this comes back like this. If I save it as a track preset, delete it, and then recreate it. I want to see if it loads up and puts the kick drum how it is, the snare drum how it is. I want to see just how faithful it is to the original, because that'll determine whether or not I can now delete it safely and know I can call it back up later. That's what I'm shooting for right now. Sask asks, what device do you use to input your drums? It is a Native Instruments Machine Micro. You can see the different colors on it. You can see it better in the room cam. But it has, I've set the different colors. Like the green ones are toms. So you watch. Kick is down here. Snare. Hi-hats. And then a pedal hat, so you can go. And then there's, see the other orange ones in the T above the, I'm trying to get the colors just angled just right. See those orange ones here are also various snare functions like a roll. And then like a poppy edge hit, and then a rim shot. And then toms, and then the top row is all cymbals. Ride, various splashes and China cymbals, and then a crash. There's more drums in the set than fit on here, but these are the main ones that I use, and then I'll accent it on the keyboard or doing other stuff later. You see me playing drum parts, and I'll just go back and forth between the keyboard sometimes, keyboard and the machine. If you're in the market for a drum machine, I'm not sponsored. I'm not. This isn't a paid endorsement, but these are the best pads I've ever found. Native Instruments Machine Micro, NI. I am quite fond of their products. I use a lot of them every day, from Contact to Massive to the Machine Micro. I don't get into their ecosystem. I don't use core type stuff, where it's like preset managers and stuff like that. I'm not interested. I just want to use their instruments and their hardware because it's nice. You can do rolls just like that wasn't the roll sample. That was me just going with two fingers. Like, you can play it like a drum. Most pads, you have to like really bash down on it before it registers, or it's so sensitive that you touch it and it goes off full volume. There's so many different glitches and idiosyncrasies on drum pads. But I can almost do a solid roll on this, just like bouncing my fingers on it. So yeah, this baby does the best drums I've ever found. If you're doing acoustic style drums, or any kind of percussion, it's the closest to like a membrane feel of it. They don't feel that different from like Akai pads, or M Audio ones, but the threshold of sensitivity is much smaller while being accurate, if that makes any sense. You don't have to hit very hard in order to register. You can just tap it, but if you touch it, it doesn't go off. It's very. Love them. All right, so what we're gonna do now is save track preset. I think I want to try the track archive. No. I bet the track archive would successfully keep everything, but let me see if saving a track preset will do the trick. And I have to make sure to back these up, because if I ever have to work on a project like this again and I need to call these up again, if I've moved to a different machine, they're not going to be there, and I'm going to like have a panic attack for a week until I put them back on there. Or just make new ones that are kind of crusty and weird and forget about the old ones. I hate doing that with presets. All right. Superior Metal Foundry. Wait. Oh, I can make folders for preset? Are you kidding me? It's like Hanukkah right now. This is great. I keep getting new cool stuff. All right, Superior Metal Foundry. So now I have that. I can add a track from a preset using track preset. Well, shoot. Where are mine? All right, let's search. I guess I can't. Oh, let's find out how to use this. No, I don't want location. Where's the one I just made? Add track using, wait, save track as track, save, oh, load track preset. But why not using track preset? How about load track preset? No, and that's still, oh, but it's in here, but it's in the accordion category? Oh, no, it's not. That was deselected. I want to find out how to do my own, only my own track preset. I guess I could sort by unrated because I'm not going to rate my own presets. I should, though. I want to just be able to see the ones that I've made in their folders. Logical? User preset? Why does it not give me the option to? All right, so saving track preset. Let's see if it the saving dialog gives me yeah, where's the location of this? Where is the location of the rebel plans? Attribute inspector. Oh, I know. I'll give it this attribute. Category is I can't make my own categories. No, everything is accordion now. Character. Oh, cool. Glissando and ethnic. All right. Let's go up. There's no up. This is the root directory, but why is it not the root directory when I go to load one? It's because there's all the preset stuff that's already built in. I want to get rid of all of instrument superior drummer. So it saves it as the instrument superior drummer. You know, that might actually work. If I just save it as a track preset, if I browse the track preset instruments, and because I know what I need. No, you know, I want drums. So I think I'm just gonna put it in the drums category. I just want to clear out all this other stuff. I don't have any use for any of this. You need to delete preset categories. Come on. What is this stuff up here? These numbers. I've been using Cubase for 14 years now, and I still find out new things about it every day that I've never even messed with. It's so deep. I don't know what the numbers do. I'm gonna find out. I think they have something to do with like star is like a wild card, and maybe whatever. Let's stop playing with that. All right. Oh, you can select multiple categories on here. Okay. I can't even put my own name in as the title. All right. Um, I'll use MP. Does MP return a lot of stuff? MP drums. Maybe it broadens the search if it doesn't find anything. I want to just browse to my own user presets folder. Oh wait, there's a draggy bar. Hey, user content. I could just unselect everything except what? Remove from database? Yes. Remove all of this. Remove all of it from the database. Please don't ask ever again. Goodbye. Remove. Yeah. Factory content, Groove Agent 1 content, Hellion Sonic SE common presets content, instrument set, Alan Morgan signature drums. I've never used any of this. Loop mash, never used that. No, I used loop mash once. It's kind of like you drag in a breakbeat and you can, kind of like Ableton style, you can slice it up and do stuff with each slice and mix them together and mute stuff. It's actually kind of cool. Okay, so great. So search result, search everything. All right, I have my own presets here. Let's load one up and see what it does. First, let's delete this track. I'm going to save this as a new project so I don't accidentally save over my... I was so close to hitting Command S just now. That was a whole queue that I just cleared out. So that would have been OKKO music lost forever. Let's save it as episode 21. We'll save it as this for now, and then I'll resave it as the queue name and title and all that stuff. And yeah, Ableton is absolutely the best for slicing up stuff. It's so good. Slice to MIDI. If you listen to Sky's theme from Shantae Half Genie Hero, Ben taught me the slice to MIDI technique, and I used it for that whole track. Is the reason it's like it's because I'm playing it on the keyboard as slices, and what I'm playing is a song that I wrote and chopped up in quarter notes or eighth note. Yeah, it's the coolest trick I've ever found in Ableton. So thanks, Ben. Freaking bros looking out for me all the time. All right, let's save this then, and let's remove selected tracks. Man, I'm never gonna finish this track at this rate. I'm gonna accelerate my progress here. I'm just honestly getting comfortable right now with the idea of streaming OKKO because I've had to keep it secret forever. Ian and Toby, the creator and director, have told me that it's cool to stream parts of it, but I couldn't like say what it is or anything like that. But I was too nervous. I didn't want to screw it up or give something away or accidentally. I think a couple times in previous streams I showed the folder name on the screen like once or twice accidentally, but like just for like one frame and then it goes away. But everybody knew, but they didn't. I was like neither confirm nor deny. Now I don't have to deny anything. I can confirm and just work on it. So I'm still getting into that mindset. It's a little interesting and new. It'll take me a minute to get my engines rolling here. All right, add track, metal drums. Bad sign, they're not reverbed. Uh-oh. All right, let's see what the mixer is looking like. It does have the proper mappings in the instrument, but that's not saying anything because that's in the... All right, so what we're going to do instead, I'm going to use the track archive for this. So let's undelete our thing. Let's undo. You hear the reverb now? That wasn't on the one that I imported. So in other words, it stripped out the effects that I had put on the... See, watch. You notice... Oh, wait. No, forget everything I said. It might still actually keep the inserts. It didn't strip anything out of it. I didn't have anything on here. I just had this going mapped through the channels and it doesn't keep the mapping, which could be a problem. Let's see what it does when it puts one in. I think it probably just puts it into stereo out. Which, you know, I'm not entirely opposed to. I'm trying to think if that would be a workflow impediment to have to set the out every time, because I have a separate output for just the kick and the snare that's separate from the track output of kick and snare. Like one is routed into one, the other is routed into the other. and the outputs are not being saved in the track preset. So I have to figure out a way to save it so that it knows to look for those tracks and automatically map itself. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do this every time. I'm gonna have to be like, see routing up here. Wait, let me zoom this in a bit so you can read stuff. So routing. This is the input, the MIDI input. All MIDI inputs, I just take whatever comes in, and then the output is below it, and that's drums main. But then you see the one next to it, drums kick and drum snare. So this is the MIDI, the instrument track coming back, and this is where the output it's routed to. And then you see when I hit one, it also makes noise over here. So those over on the left-hand side, those are the instrument tracks coming back, but they're still being individually routed into the audio outputs of Cubase. So these are group tracks or buses on a mixer. If you've used a mixer before and you know what a bus is, where you kind of split off some of the signal and send it somewhere else, that's what you get to do here. I can send all of my violins or all of my guitars into a single violin or guitar aggregator track that kind of filters it all down into one, so that I can take the volume up and down or mix it or put reverb on it or compress it. Whatever I want to do, I can act on the group track or bus. And that's what these are. So it's not saving which bus, which group track to put the instrument track into when I create it. So I have to figure out why, and if it's something I can get around. Maybe doing a track archive might preserve it. But if not, I'm not too bent out of shape about having to set it by hand, because I have to be in the habit of doing that anyway anytime I add an instrument. Because if it's just set to stereo out, it's not going to bounce in the final output. In other words, when I export the audio files, I have to export it in a batch export that takes the kicks, the snares, the bass, the violins, whatever else, and individually exports them so that Robbie can mix them. And so if I'm not routing my stuff into one of these group channels down here, in other words, if it's in stereo out directly, just by default, these are in stereo out. The group channels go to stereo out. But if anything else is at stereo out, like for example, video audio doesn't matter, but main chord comp, that's a synth. See, it's routed to syn comps because that's what it's in. So that's the output that it's set to. And if it were set to stereo out, just the default, or even no bus, but it usually defaults to stereo out, which is the main 1-2 output left and right. If it was set to that, you wouldn't hear it in the cartoon. It wouldn't export. It's like it doesn't exist. It throws it away because it only exports, the batch process only exports these groups: orchestra, drums, bass, pianos, leads, pads. So those are the files that Robbie gets: orchestra.wave, drums main.wave, drums kick.wave. These are essentially separate wave files that I can route stuff into at will. I guess that's a better, quicker explanation. Each one of these becomes a wave file that contains just that. So if main chord comp were in the orchestra channel, watch. See, it comes through here in orchestra. So that's not right. It's not an orchestra instrument. If you put your pianos in your synth leads, nobody's going to like you. So you got to put it back in synth comps. And now you see it shows up in the right place. So that's going to show up in syncomps.wave when I export it. So I have to find a way to make my drums so that they're set up and they export into the right wave when I go to export it as soon as I import it. I just want to be able to click, set up. But I'm not sure if that's possible because of the way that Cubase saves the preset. It may actually you may just not be able to do that and have to reroute them each time. But it's a good habit to be in anyway, so I might just roll with it. Wait, what did I just delete? Why did it do that? I thought it was the other drum track. Metal drums. There you go. Good. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Export, Selected Tracks. And it's an XML file. Interesting. All right, test. Now let's delete it. Now let's import track archive. Test.xml. Metal drums, destination, new track. What? Oh, that's for the data on it. I don't want to. Wait a minute. Import type instrument. That is quite interesting though for setting up like a guitar rig or something. Let's see how it's routed. Metal drums is now loaded in. All right, so it's making noise. That's a good sign. Mixer, where are you? Mixer. Cubase is frozen. Not responding to clicks anymore. Oh, because missing port. Cool. It popped up a modal dialog. I was like, did I just crash the program trying to do a basic thing? Nope. I'm just dumb. All right, F3, mixer. There you go. So it still keeps its own mappings. Wait, yeah. So it has its own tracks here, and it goes into the proper drums main, kick, and snare. Booyakasha! Oh, shit. Sorry. I almost knocked my walkie-talkie into oblivion here. All right, we did it. Yeah! Mm. All right, people are pinging me. I haven't been paying attention. I've been focused on this task. Yo, VertJK, we got an important dude in here. Of course we have, all of you. What's up? Who's our important VIP? I'm scrolling down. A boarder from the show. Hello, welcome, hi. Wait, is this the boarder that I think it is? Does it? Do I know this boarder? Have I met this boarder and perhaps worked with them on a past project? If so, hello you. Yo. Is it? If so, then welcome and I'm glad you're here. And if not, then welcome and it's nice to meet you. Okay, we haven't met. Okay, good. I was talking about Parker because I worked with him actually before on another thing at another company, and that guy is awesome. And so, any boarder is a friend of mine. I am quite fond of these episodes. They keep getting weirder, and they keep getting more awesome, and I am madly in love with this series. I think it's gonna do so well because it's just so genuine and loving and just but also hilarious and weird and random. It's it makes me feel the same way Adventure Time made me feel when I saw it for the first time. Back when it was like the flavor of the week kind of weird madcap hijinks you're up to or something like that. You know. But there is plot that we're getting. It's a deep show. It's really really cool to work on. I am so excited. Did you board the glitch episode? All right, that's my favorite one yet. I can't believe how funny that was. When I can't talk about it without spoiling anything for the viewers, but when I saw certain people taking certain actions that they would not normally take. That's the most vague way I could put it. When stuff started getting real, that's my brain exploded. I couldn't believe it. And we only get to see like a grainy version at first on Skype with Ian and Toby every week. We'll just get on Skype and they'll screen the episode with me, and so I just hear a low res version of the dialogue and see kind of skippy video, and it's almost like a storyboard anyway. But then I see the full res thing later. Oh, it's so cool. I love this show. I have a whole bunch of fun working on it. All right, so we've successfully. So yeah, welcome. I hope you stick around. I hope you feel inspired to do more of the show just by watching somebody else do their thing and just hanging out. The thing with Mint Potion is this is a place where you keep me company while I work. Instead of just watching, you're chilling with me, and it breaks the monotony a bit. I already am used to working with people in the room because Ben used to work on a desk over here, and he was just there rambling in the background constantly. So I got used to it very quickly, and now I find I like working with a crowd But I feel it's less spectators and more fellow travelers. So you're welcome to chill anytime. Let's get rid of these drums. I'm gonna start doing this to everything now. I don't think I'm gonna do part 2 of this later maybe, but I might stick with the not full orchestra template because this could take a while to get through everything. If I can you save a track archive that's a folder? Please tell me you can. Export track archive, selected track, strings, test.xml. The selected track types cannot be exported, but these can. File, export selected tracks. Let's do this. I bet it's gonna work. Strings test. Come on. Yeah. All right. Now delete them all. Let's delete everything. Contain deleted event. Don't ever ask me that. Do what I tell you. All right. So import track archive strings test.xml. Yeah. Let's see if it's routed correctly because it may not make any sounds. It appears to be actually. Yes! I'm so happy right now. Unfortunately, you can't save a folder, I don't think. Maybe you can. Maybe it'll save it in the folder. Let's undelete and try again. This will go faster than I thought now. Because I could just delete whatever I want out of here and clean up my project. Oh yeah, I love it when this happens. Things actually work. My Mac wouldn't start earlier. That's one of the reasons we're an hour late. By which I mean it wouldn't start, meaning it took forever to start because it was probably doing an FSCK or something in the background, but it wouldn't turn on the monitor, so I was flipping out. Robbie's like, my computer does that all the time. I'm like, why does it only take forever when you want to do something? Strings test 2. All right, let's delete this. I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna feel some type of way if this actually works, but I don't think. It probably strips out the folder. Yeah, whatever. I can go right click. Come on. Oh. Man, that's buddy. I have to check the mixing ports every single time. All right. Move selected tracks to new folder and then just call that strings. No problem. But if there are few enough strings, if it's only a string section, I don't need to put it in a folder. Okay, let's make sure it's routed properly. If it's going to the VST, then it's probably already routed correctly. If it's going to Vienna. Yeah, it's going to an orchestra. Perfect! I'm so relieved, guys. So now I can just get rid of these. I don't even need them anymore. Although I have to wonder. No, we're just going to do it that way. That's the best way to do this, I think. Have archives of each section that I need. I could have a full orchestra archive to call them all up or just do one at a time. And they all just get mapped automatically correctly to my Vienna ensemble project, which already exists and is rad. Ah, perfect. All right, then before I go crazy here, and it keeps the volumes, yes, it does. Oh, everything's set up perfectly. Yes. I'm so relieved, guys. Let's set up everything. All right, let's just do it one at a time. All right. Piano. I don't need all of these. I could just save individual presets. So I'm going to call this default bright piano. Save track preset. And so I'll use individual track. No, I won't because it doesn't route them properly. I'll create. Ooh, I don't want to create an archive of every single. I'll tell you what. I'll create an individual instruments as track presets, and then I'll route them. If it's a piano, I can put it in pianos. It's not a big deal. So I'll save a track preset. I'll call it, because this is really easy to use if you go through this way. It just doesn't route them properly into your outputs, but if it's one at a time, I don't mind it at all. Yeah, let's do it that way. So new folder. Pianer. And let's call it default bright piano. Wait, bright piano. Bright true pianos. So I at least know what it is. All right, so let's delete that just to make sure. Remove, add track using track preset, and it's got just my presets loaded up. I wish it showed it in folder view though. Or does it? Oh. Track preset. I mean, that is one way to make it work, I guess. But I might have track presets for sets of channels as well, audio channels, not just instruments. So I'm just going to continue using this, and I'll call this one Piano Bright, and I'll call this one Drums Metal Foundry. Putting it in the name like that, baking it into the name, is really redundant when you already have folders, but since it forces me to browse this way, which I'm not sure if it does, it might just give me the folders. But I don't think it does. I think this is what I'm gonna get, because it seems like the folders are just used for file storage and not like for categorization in here. That's a weird disconnect, but who cares? Call up a piano bright, add it. Whew. ZXAJ, is that how you pronounce that, or is it Zixage? I'm scared to download OCC. My antivirus gets triggered when I deal with do. Well, it's homemade software, so it's not signed by any digital certificate, so it probably flags or whatever. If you get a virus from OCC, I will pledge right now, and don't fake it. Only if you really get one. Don't take advantage. I will pay for your Geek Squad or your repair or your new copy of Windows or your new hard, whatever you need to buy to fix your computer from the virus attack. That's how sure I am that there's no virus in OCC. There super is not one. I've downloaded it like 50 billion times. Unless their site got hacked or something and they replaced the exe or zip file, like, come on. That's not going to happen. It's safe. All right, so smooth piano. I'm going to call this one temp piano. Actually, I'm going to keep this here as my sketch piano. Sketch piano. This is going to be a permanent fixture in any preset that I make, in any template that I make. Sketch piano. Because that's what I do first, is I sketch. And I'm actually going to put it down here because it's a darn important track. All right. And so I'll be editing that anytime I'm using a project. So that's not going to go away. I'm going to decline to create synth presets unless there are specific iconic synths that I like, because I don't like using the same presets over and over again. Even if they're ones I made, I don't like just have that one bass sound that you always use. There are a few FM basses like that for me already, but I don't want to do that too much. I don't want to just keep a massive loaded by default with that sound in it. Like, it's a cool sound. I've used it before on something. That's a very useful sound for doing melodies and leads. I might just keep a sketch synth. No, F it. We're gonna just get rid of all of these. I don't want to have all these VST instruments loaded in my template. It's just not something I'm interested in. We can load them individually per project if we need them, and only if. Piano stack. Oh, I gotta have this one. Save track presets. This will get faster once I do it a bunch. Piano stack. 80s stack. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta have the piano stack. Yeah, we need that. We need an organ, but I can call up an organ individually. It's kind of like a synth. I mean, it sort of is a super old school synth. That's the organ was designed as the pipe organ is designed to replicate an entire orchestra. That's why the different pipes have names like oboe and wind and uh, vox humana for person singing. It's supposed to sound like a person singing. Oh. When you put them all together, that's when you get that big Final Fantasy organ sound, you know. All right, Rhodes. I need my Dream Rhodes. Yeah. So our storyboarding friend will recognize this sound because it's used all over OKKO. That's that sound. That's Rhodes Dream. Hey, it's Contact that has a nice Rhodes piano setup in it. It's the Scarby Mark One that comes with Contacts, and I've never needed anything else. Like, it's certain sample types can more or less be mastered. Like, you can anything that's a mallet instrument. Like, if you mic it well enough and you record it well enough, you can't really capture the feeling of being in the room with it when it just permeates the room. You know, when you're doing tremolo on a marimba or something, it sort of resonates around everything in a way a sample can't really capture. But if we're talking about capturing the literal sound of the instrument, like a marimba, a xylophone, or even a Rhodes piano, it's a thing that conventional sample techniques can more or less get. So a default preset one, as long as it's got the release. Check it out. When I take my finger off the key, listen. It's got a Leslie. You can hear the. You hear that little as I pull my finger off the key. You hear it goes da, da. You hear that? That is a separate little sample. They recorded that by itself, chopped it out, and they tell the sampler, "Hey, when you let go of the key, play that one." So it sounds like you're taking your finger off the real thing. Or when you play a bass note, check it out, the bass. You hear that? The dunk. But it only happens sometimes and only in certain. But watch what happens when you play bass with that kind of sound when you let go of the key. It sounds so much like the real thing because you have the little noises that happen in between playing the notes. If it's just the bass, then it'll sound like that. It's just one sound. But if you have the release samples, right? How cool is that? So that's another one while we're at it. No, I'm going to go through the pianos first real quick. I'm never going to get through this unless I start hustling. Remove selected tracks. Rhodes Dream. Let us save track preset. Piano. Rhodes Dream. Also, probably when I just put these in a single folder instead of in here, I'll organize them later. Yeah, I don't want to mess with this for right now. I'll just save them in the folders. Maybe I'll find a way to browse the folders later. So I'm gonna start organizing that as I go. All right, let's remove that one. I dearly hope. Well, I can always get them back later. I'm saying I hope I save it properly before deleting it. But I'm not gonna test each one of them. Add track. All right, save track preset. What this does is it lets me go right click and then do a couple more clicks and I'm done. Versus loading up a contact, configuring the contact instance, browsing to the library among my 30 libraries, and then picking the right instrument and tuning it the right way. I've already done that. I don't want to do it again. Piano, Rhodes front. So these are, like, I'm saving an exact sound that I used in an actual track that I've proven to be useful. Don't need that. I like that sound, but I don't need it. Get rid of all that. Massive 08. That's just the normal preset that I put in as color somewhere. All right, we're done with our pianos. Oh, I could just keep the folders in the... No, I'm going to clear them out. I don't care. Remove selected tracks. I'm resisting the temptation to clutter my presets, so the projects load as quickly as possible. All right, that's cool. Remove selected tracks. Disc guitar temp. I'm gonna edit that really quick to turn down the noise. That rap at the end. I want some of that in there, but not that much. Are there controls for this? See, now it sounds fake because you took away the finger off noise. Check it out. It still sounds good, but with the noise in there. That would never have sounded like that if you didn't have the noise in there. So I'm going to save this as a preset, even though it didn't take too long to set up. I'm running it through Guitar Rig. So, audio inserts, Guitar Rig 5. See, so I have a preset set up for it. So I'm going to save all that together. And it should just work. But I'm going to verify this one because it does include plugins in the track. So, new folder. Guitar. Oh, yeah. Guitar. Disc. All right, cool. Anything I can do that simplifies the process of adding new instruments to my track that I use often, because it's just such a time sink to set these up every single time. I'm going to get... Man, I should just get a bass tone preset done so that I could just have my bass in everything. It never changes. It's always the same tone. Sometimes I distort it, but usually it's just my customized version of the precise bottom or DI bass. One of these two presets, and then I dial it into what I need, and I'm done. That's my bass tone. It just works. So that's actually a pretty quick one that I could set up on each project individually. It's not that big a deal. So I'm gonna get rid of these. These are audio tracks for, I'm gonna guess guitar, even though it's in the bass channel, because I was working on this project earlier. That's not a good enough muted guitar to justify saving. Peace! That's not a distinctive enough bass to justify keeping. But that is. So, this is a thing I use all the time. So, let us save this as a track preset. Am I going to put this in guitar or am I going to put it in bass? Now I'm going to put it in bass. It is technically a bass guitar. So's your mom. Oh! All right, so I'm going to call this one SCB bass. SCB. There's just a Scarby bass. That's all it is. Just the default one that comes in Contact. I use so many just default presets, but I use them so layered and blended that it's kind of hard to even identify them in the first place. That's what I do instead of making all of my presets from scratch. I'll make new ones by adding existing ones together. So you have like a Voltron of a bunch of well-designed sounds, varyingly well-designed. Some of them are useless, but and this is another bass that I want to keep because this is a different style. It's less realistic, but a lot more smooth in the tone. But I gotta fix it before I do that. There's a specific way I like to play this one. First, gotta go into the global and tune it because the patch is not tuned properly. It's a little flat. Check it out. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. It's 19. Either 19 or 20, depending on the relative pitches of the other instruments that are also varyingly out of tune. Guys, working with samples that other people made is really tough sometimes because it seems like nobody working on the technical side has a strong sense of whether things are in tune with each other. But that's not true for all vendors. Not even for NI in general. Most of their stuff is good, but every now and then you get the one that's like, why is this so sharp? Oh, what is wrong with you? Can't hate too much. All right, anyway, let's figure this out. Monophonic and legato triller. So what that does is, you see, if I don't let my finger off the key, if I go while I'm still pressing the first one, it'll bend real fast up to it. That's what's called legato. Legato. Da instead of da da da. See, it's way more bassy now. Save that, sucker. Bass. It's not actually a Phi mod bass. It's just the name of the patch that I've sort of been tweaking over the past X years. All right, save track preset. Bass Phi. Call it Phi. And then Scarby bass duplicate that for some reason I just duplicated the track and changed the preset. So this is going to be acoustic bass. Right. Stand up. Save that track preset. Cool. Oh, I've got my basses. Oh, wait. Remember how I said I was going to verify the guitar? Let's verify that it goes through guitar rig still. Heck yeah, it does. I love you, Cubase. Sometimes. Cool ass sound, but goodbye. Big band ensembles. Oh, these are my fakey big bands. I'm gonna use that for things. I think the trumpet section is breath activated, so let's put up MIDI pipe, mypipe.mep. Let's verify we have blowy control. We do not. Let's go into audio MIDI setup. You guys are gonna see me do this a lot until I get rid of this UE. It's really flaky. Gotta turn it off, go into audio MIDI setup, delete the EWI while it's unplugged, and then plug it back in, and then it pops back up, and now it works. And now I gotta restart MIDI pipe. Can you even imagine how many hours it took me to figure this out the first time? And how panicked I was. I broke my MIDI set. You just gotta plug it back in and do. But if you just plug it back in, it doesn't work. You gotta delete the device first and then plug it back in. Drivers! All right. Let's see. We got it back up again. And indeed, you see the little glowy thing here? I'm blowing harder and softer. And now I'm playing. Oh, hello. Man, I somehow key switched it to the... I don't need that noise in my life. I gotta figure out where the key switches are located. Key switches are, you know, the bottom keys on a piano that are just like dong, dong, dong. We use those in sample libraries to switch, which kind of, whether it's like a or a da or a da or a bump, you can switch ones. You can switch them just by hitting the key down low, like C or D or E or F, and then playing your stuff. And then you hit it again, and it changes. So you can swap back and forth by playing two-handed, down low and up high. But that's a pain in the butt. And as you see, it's different in each one as to where the key switches are located. So I'm just gonna give up and all right. So it's these three layered together, and only these three. Come on. All right, key switch. Which one of you is making that the noise? Let's solo you. I gotta find out which one this is. Oh yeah, I gotta do... window size. Okay, cool. Let's find it. It's you! Ha! I knew it. I didn't know it. Okay. I have to figure out why the doit happens. Well, I found the doit, but it's not changing. And it is this one, right? It's actually all of them. You know, I gotta find where my key switch... It's stab, short, sustain. That should be sustain. Which octave is this even? Key C0. I'm not looking at the right one. Hey! It doesn't seem to be doing anything. All right, I'm bailing. If I need to set this up again in the future, I'm going to. I don't have time for this, and I never use these anyway, so goodbye. Sax sec, trombone sec. Upside down, hey. Fakey sounding, but useful for layering. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all of these as a... No, I never need these. Let's just get rid of all of them. If I need them, I'll load them elsewhere. Yeah, it feels good to clean house, right? Get rid of this base. Everything must go. Choir. Get out of here. I don't need that. Choir. I need all the choir though, for sure. Is that being routed to Vienna? Yes, it is. I love technology. You're not going anywhere, my friends. You're staying with me. Save as. Export selected tracks. Let's do this. OKKO. Template. No, I'm putting it in Vert, and I'm putting it in my home directory. That's the first thing I back up all the time. It'll never leave. I have my home directory from my first MacBook in 2005. It's the same one. It's just been copied over to multiple machines. Name a new folder. Preset. No, that's really vague. And I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to just make a folder in there called track preset. Yes. Oh, no, track archives. Yeah. I'll call it track presets for now, whatever. Choirs. mpchoirs.xml. Nice. Yeah, name it sets. Let's talk about sets. Let me verify that this actually works again. It's just important for doing these big orchestra ones because I do not want to set these up again. Honestly, ever again if I could avoid it. This is something I would have my new intern do for me, but I don't want to subject him to that. It's just not fair for anyone. Oh yeah. Modal dialogue, and here we go. Ow! Come on. All right, delete all these. Good. I got my choirs done. Let me do my strings next. My full string set up here. And I will eventually save over the preset because I'm only going to be using them in new tracks. If I save a project, it'll have the old tracks in there, obviously, so I don't have to keep an external thing from changing. Except for the orchestra template, I have to, because if I change the orchestra template later, then all of my track archives are going to stop working. So I just need to make this persistent and just be done with it. Okay, cool. Let's take the entire folder of strings and let's export selected tracks. And that's going to be MP strings. The Mint Potion strings collection. So that's got all my solos, the cellos. You know it. Goodbye. Yep. Goodbye. All right. Metal drums is out of here. All these things are gone. We're getting through it, guys. We're almost done here. I'll be able to get cooking on this pretty soon. Soprano sax. Tenors. Cool. Save these as a sax preset. Sax archive. Sax over the phone. MP saxes. That way I don't have to look at all these tracks that are empty for like a good 80% of OKKO. Like in general, like in an average episode, I'm only going to use the saxes maybe once and maybe none. So I don't have to scroll past them or even scroll past the collapsed folder. I don't want to have 180 tracks in my project. All right, cool. All right, did I save out brass? No, I didn't yet. I believe this is actually in context, so I'm gonna have to save out the track archive. It should have these mapped. Let's just do it and see. Oh, and I have. Muted. Muted is important. But also, what instrument am I using for that? It's the trombone, but it's local. It's not loaded into. I don't know, man. I want to keep everything in. No. Anything I need separately, I could just load in here in a project because my template never really changes. It hasn't changed in almost all of using. Like the orchestra just stays the same orchestra every time because I've set it up how it needs to be. Muted trombone. No, it's just a trombone being played out of range. I think. Yeah. Trombone with a harmonic mute or a cup? I have all of them. All the different mutes. Check this out. Yeah, it's a harmonic and a stem mute. I can change it to a cup. Or bucket mute. I love your sample library. So I'm gonna save that as I'm save that right here because it's sort of a I'll save it in the trombones. There's also an out of tune. One of these trombones is out of tune, so I'm gonna have to fix that later. But I think this should be the trick for now. Okay. Got to pick a color for this. Where's the color picker thinger? I never ever remember where the color thing is. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Ooh, everybody's yellow now. My brass is yellow. It's either always yellow or orange. It's a very bright kind of yellowy orange, sunny kind of sound to me. Delete, remove selected. I don't want a lane here. Clean up lanes. And I can't seem to like get this out of here. I don't know how to disable a lane. So I'm just gonna save it like it is. It puts the lotion on its skin. No, it puts the no, you know what I could do is just this is MIDI in 2, this is MIDI in 1. MIDI in 2, channel 9, and channel 10. So I'm just gonna delete this one. Create French horn 1. Oh yeah. French horn 1. And then just make this 9. Problem solved. Yeah. Technology. And I don't want to automate the tuba. Tuba automation. File export. Selected tracks. MP brass. Oh yeah. Get out of here. Wait, I'm gonna remove it, and then, I'm tired of seeing your complaining. I'm gonna import track archive. I wonder if you can import multiples at once. You can't, of course. I'll import them and then make a big one and then export them as the big one in case I want to do them all at once. I'll have like orchestra. Let's load up brass again and just make absolutely sure everything's going where it needs. It seems to have saved the type as instrument versus MIDI, so that's encouraging. But let's see if it saves the routing. Oh yeah. Mixer, where are you? Yeah, it works. Orchestra. See? Yeah. Routing is preserved correctly. This is so rad, man. So excited. Can't believe this works. Thank you, forum user on Cubase forums. That almost never happens. All right, wins. Let's export these. MP wins. Separate from saxes. Although there's a flute, there's a jazz flute in the saxes section because they hang out together. All right, choir is done. Percussion happens now. Stomps. Make that purple. Purple. All right, select all. Select the tracks. I can bind that to a key, to the loading and saving. I can bind that to a key eventually, but I haven't yet. MP percussion. Get out of here. Drums. The final countdown. Goodbye. If I need quirky electronic drums, I can load them. Never actually used this, despite it being a good drum kit. Goodbye. Chariots of Fire, claps, don't need those anymore. I'm gonna keep this as my signature, sort of like, it's gotta be like 909s right now. I just need maximum punch. But I think I want to take the reverb down. And I can't because it's in the snare channel, which has reverb on it. What? That's not cool. Hold up. I'll turn it down at the very least. Cool. Save track preset. No, wait. Yeah. It won't be routed properly, though. It'll all be just back to default. I'm cool with that. Generally, they don't really mix our drums separately in the stem. The music is usually mixed so low under the dialogue that you barely hear it. And then it comes up sometimes. But so they don't really need to go into that detail with the drum stems. I don't need like tom 1, floor tom, high tom. I don't need to go into that much detail. I can have it all in one track just as drums, and they don't really care. But Robbie likes to have like acoustic snares separate and kicks, so he can compress stuff and do his Robbie magic. So I'll just keep that on the Metal Foundry side. Or will I? Does it keep the routings? I think it... No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Right, and again, it doesn't matter. I could just change them by hand. Yeah, that's easy enough. Drums. Electric, battery. Goodbye. Goodbye. Groove drums. Hello. You're staying. I like you. I like. However, is it mapped? Is it all mapped into the one? I think it is. Yeah, good. Stay here. Save a track preset. Drums. Groove bias. Go to impactsoundworks.com today. and buy your copy. It's the best 80s, 70s sounding drum library I've ever used, and I use it on everything. Helpful to have general percussion. And I believe it's a Superior, yeah. Drums Superior perk. Nice. All right, a couple more tracks here. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to use that anytime soon, but it's cool. I want to use it like right now and just make a song like that right now, but no. 90s, the 80s/90s pitch bent tambourine. Don't need that anymore. Drums, you're gone. Let's get her done. Oh man, I'm so excited. Look at this nice clean project. There's only 20 tracks. Why is there 20? Where are the other 7? Hold up. It's here. Band sections. Oh yeah, I don't need that anymore because I got rid of my band. The ensembles from before. Okay, Vienna Ensemble Pro. That's my okay, that's where the other tracks went. Okay, so that has to stay. And given that I have my now super trimmed and presetted template for tracks, I can try making this Vienna project persistent. I'm going to save first. And if this works, I'll save it as a template. Okay, saved. Let's see how big the project is compared to before when it had 150 tracks in it. I bet it's going to be tiny. It's 900. No, it's 22.4 megs versus about 50 where it was at before. Just to have all those instruments loaded and stuff, and just have all the mapping set for everything. That took an insane amount of space because I have 12 for this episode alone, and it's every week. Hey. All right. Let's try to make this project persistent so that I can load it up and it won't try to load the orchestra again. I'm going to read the manual on Vienna first before I try to mess around with this because I don't want to have to load 10 minutes at a time more than once if possible. In other words, I don't want to try stuff, see if it works, and then it doesn't work and I'm screwed. So I'm going to... Can you please tell me that you have help file built in? Oh, come on. Do you really not have a help file built in? There's no help menu. No. Okay. Vienna. Preserve session. Preserve decouple question. Let's browse. Decoupled and preserved. I don't get it. Preserve. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I want this person who doesn't get it. Let's have somebody explain it. Okay. Activating decouple does not save or load the VI frame, which is basically the virtual instrument frame. In other words, Vienna's file format that it saves. When the master host saves or loads. This can speed up the workflow a lot when using third-party plugins. Yeah. I know that. Decoupled, the Vienna Ensemble Pro server interface, which is what I'm using over here, only saves the connection information. And in other words, like what tracks are routed where, the slave it is connected to, and if applicable, the preserved instance. Okay. If you run decoupled, you won't be saving any data with your project. Good. That's what I want. I want to be able to just connect through MIDI to the orchestra, and it just set up the MIDI tracks, and they already know where to connect and all that stuff, and then boom, there you go. Hmm. The point of preserve is that if you don't use preserve, then closing the sequencer project would unload the samples. Think of preserve plus decouple using a standalone, but without the need for virtual MIDI or audio cables. That's exactly what I want. Thank you, DG. Joined on Wednesday. This is 6 years in the past now. 6 years now. All right, let's use preserve, and we're gonna call this MP. All right, now decouple all. That should just do it, I think. Let's save though. Save project. Yeah, Viframe 64. You see, I get Viframe. That's the Vienna Ensemble's own project file format. All right, so we're gonna call this MP frame because it's a frame. It can have multiple projects in it. I can have 3 orchestras loaded up with different stuff in them. In fact, I might just do that. It's oh ho ho. I could connect to multiple instances, have them running on the server. Ben could be working on the same orchestra server. In other words, he could connect to my computer and pass MIDI in and get audio back at his machine, and I'd never hear any of it. It's like a totally separate server running somewhere that anyone just uses at any time. So that's really convenient. Shadow of Dad asks, what's that small red box behind the Asus monitor? It looks special. Yeah, it is special. That's a decimator. It's a frame scaler. I have my output going in at 1080p 60, and this downscales it to 1080p 30, or 720p 60, or 720p 24, or whatever. It's a scaling unit that takes a video signal in either HDMI or SDI coaxial, and then outputs an SDI coaxial, so that you can convert the video from one format to another in real time with no lag. It's really cool. We're using that to take the output of my monitors and all this stuff and run it into the TriCaster up here, so that you can, so that we don't have any video frame rate weirdness. Like, we solve the issue on this side so that it goes in clean. Try to send a clean signal. Okay. I don't have any other VST instruments loaded up. That's it. Sketch piano and Vienna Ensemble. Beautiful. I'm almost ready to get working now, I think. Not that I haven't been working already, but I haven't been working yet. I gotta write this episode. It's gonna take about 6 hours, maybe 8. All right. So this stays loaded and it doesn't try to load up Vienna. Let's see. No, it does try to load up Vienna. You jerk. Why does that not happen? No, why does it not? No, I don't want it loading the data. Stop. No. Well, there you go. It's stopwatched. So I'm gonna have to wait until it loads a second copy of my entire orchestra. This is why I bought all this RAM. So I'm gonna have 2 identical orchestras loaded here. I know why it is. Because I didn't click the preserve and decouple. Yeah, I did. What the heck? Ah! Alright, we'll figure it out. Matt Masad asked, I missed the beginning of the stream, so why the setup when he's been working on episodes already? It's because I've been working like totally dumb on this stuff. I've been just saving one gigantic project with an entire orchestra loaded and like 30 different VST plugins, and I've just been doing save as and then deleting everything and starting over. That's killing me. It takes forever to load the project. It's terrible to change projects. And so I'm trying to simplify my setup now so I can load a basic template and only add what I want, and that the server is always connected. I mean, the orchestra is always there. Yeah, I don't get why it's loading back up. All right, let's stop this. Let's shut this down. And that goes away, but this stays. So why does it load? I might have an idea. I'm gonna have to load it again, and it's gonna take long again, but I'm gonna do that now. It might have to be connected to a new server, to the decoupled server. Come on. What, people mispronounce your username? I figure it's like Razmataz, Matmatat. I guess I just have the privilege of having grown up with a weird English teacher who used that word a lot. Hey. Well, I come from a place where I meet a lot of people who have names that aren't familiar to me, like from a different country or from a different culture. And I'm paranoid about screwing that up. So I always try to ask at least, but try to make an educated guess when I can. I hate to be that guy that totally botches it. Like, Matt, what are you thinking? All right, almost there. It doesn't take as long as I. It doesn't take that long to load it when it's just the orchestra. All right, so Vienna Ensemble Pro is here, connected. I don't understand why it. MP, right? Yeah, preserve name MP. So connect to that. If you try to load a third orchestra, I'm gonna scream. Nice. Decouple all. Okay. Preserve and decouple. I changed all these options. Everything is enabled. Why does it disable it when I go back? Oh, it's just that it looks like it's disabled when it's in the background. See, when I switch back to Cubase, oh, you can't see that. Anyway, I think that should do it. Actually, that might actually be all I need because that wasn't selected before, and I think that's why I tried to load the old orchestra. Now it's connected to this MP one instead of being connected to a default uh, new one. All right, let's save. Let's close and let's reopen. Yes. All right. Now to test. Now to test whether I can. Test whether I can import my strings and if it works. Oh man, this is gonna be so cool if it does. Uh, import track archive strings. Come on, big money. Yes. 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 Orchestra. Oh man, it works. My life just got so much easier. Holy crud. I can't believe it. This is great. I'm trying to hide my enthusiasm so I don't just get up and start like tearing cables out, jumping around and stuff. Like like literally this is saving me like hours every single time I do this. Like literally hours. Like 3 or 4 hours I lose to this complexity. It's been getting away from me and it's been making OKKO really difficult to work on because it's such a giant ponderous file. It's got so much in it. It's got everything I could ever need in it. And that's a problem because I don't want to have to navigate all that stuff every time. And to make matters worse, it's a whole 11-minute track. So now I have the cues chopped up into individual videos, and I also have my project in a modular format. So that's really cool. And I think I'll be able to do a lot cooler stuff now because I'm saving time. I have more time to work and less time to fidget with the setup. All right, so I'm gonna save this as a new template then. I can't believe it worked. Let's set it to 120 for default. I'm gonna just set all the options for posterity in the mixer. Saxes don't need to be all the way up here. Let's just set everything at their default. Like I've more or less dialed this in over the past few months. Like orchestra's always got to be a little quieter. You can bump it up a little in general. Guitar's always way down because it's more of a background element most of the time. But if I have a show where I'm doing solo, I can just put it up here and just do the mix the rhythm guitars separately. It'll be slightly different each time, but starting with a basic template is always very useful. All right, stereo in, video audio, sketch piano, strings, brass saxes, wind, percussion, and solos coming back from Vienna. And then orchestra, stem, drums, main, drums, kick, drums, snare, bass, pianos, leads, pads, syncopes, guitar. I'm trying to think if I want to add any more groups as a default. No, because if I don't have anything in the episode and I batch it, uh, Robbie just gets a bunch of blank, empty wave files, so that's no good. I don't want to duplicate data when I don't have to. And in fact, I'm gonna change I'm gonna change this to just synths. I'm gonna take out pads. I want to simplify the number of stems I give Robbie because there's a lot of empty space. Where is the remove track? I don't think you can from here. All right, pads. Wait, unmaximize yourself, young man. I can never work with Cubase maximized. It always has to be a window so that I can have my transport like here and just kind of sort of halfway cover it up and not have to worry about it down here. Like I don't want it to be over any data in the work window. It has to be separate. I have my little weird idiosyncrasies about work style that I've had for my entire life basically. And it can't be all the way over. It's got to be like here-ish. Here-ish. I know to look for it there intuitively in the corner of my vision. All right, so pads are going away. Syn comps can go away. I just want a synths track. That's cool. Let's keep it like that. Honestly, I could probably get away with just doing a single drums track instead of trying to split it out into kick and snare tracks. Should I do that? No, because I still want to compose with them with independent control and not have to tweak the samples themselves. And he might need to fix my stuff. So okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're ready to go. We're set. I'm gonna save this as a template. Nope. Save as template is a different. Where is it? Is there no save as type? Export template. Save as template is its own thing. All right. Mint potion, small window template already, which I just used once, and that's pretty much I just saved as. Okay, KO. .cpr. Do it. Do it. Do it. Now save everything. And now, new project. Check it out. Project Assistant. OKKO. Create. Remove tracks that cannot be connected. Perk and solos. Well, that's weird. Let's see where that comes from. Should be fine. I don't know why it popped up that error message. I didn't have perk or solos in there at all. Anyway, we're good. We're ready to go. Let me drag the video in here for the first cue, and we'll just get started. For the better part of the past year. So I am well versed in writing OKKU music at this point to the cues. But it's always a new challenge because the shows change in various different ways. Sorry, I'm giving you a semi-inappropriate dick shot here. I'm just disrobing here. Oh, snap! Speaking of inappropriate. What are you trying to do to me, Iwi? Put you off to the side here. Okay. All right. I'm only yeah. The problem was indeed that I was using one big project with all instruments from every song I've been working on, and it's getting out of hand. But the problem was also that just staring at an 11-minute blank project is like, it's nightmare inducing. It's so much pressure to consider the entire show all at once. And then work on it and have little bits that are incomplete all over the place. You don't get that feeling of completing a song and moving on if you're just kind of going from place to place, putting in like brass here, I'll do a sax here. Great, now I just have piano and sax for 11 minutes. It makes you feel like butt like for 8 hours at a time. And then by the time you're tired and you don't want to work on it anymore, that's when you're supposed to be polishing stuff and finishing it. So this way, I can start a single cue, a single scene in the cartoon, finish it, and move on. And so I get that nice little endorphin rush of like, ooh, I did a thing. I did well. Everyone is going to be happy with this. Where I didn't get that working on the full episode all at once. It was just like perpetually unfinished. And so I have an amazing team here, including Robbie, who chops up the episode each week into a number of cues and just drops them in a folder so I can load them up one at a time. I can still watch the full episode and put stuff in the right place, but for doing individual tracks, for attacking the workload, it's so much easier to do it this way, just mentally. Huey Lewis in the news, very nice. I could probably rock the solo from Harder Rock and Roll from memory, but I'm not going to try it now because I'll do that later. Yeah, we could cover that song today if we wanted to. I love Huey Lewis. Episode notes. Okay, so this is that's the Netwrok folder. I have my notes are up here on the screen hidden so that you can't see them. It's very important. I don't want to spoil the episode for you. I'm gonna put the notes all the way over to the side here, verifying you can't see anything. They're on this Asus monitor in front of the decimator, so it's away from the camera and away from my personal cam, so it should be nice and safe. Can't even really see the reflection of my glasses or anything. It's a thing you got to worry about. All you see is like the crazy anime shine, and I'm like, like all the time. That's what I do. All right, Operation Manual. That sounds like a World War II battle. Let's load in a video, guys. What do I want to do first? I'm not going to read you what they are because that'll spoil everything. First one is scene. Scene 1, paste in the Plaza Jam from episode 10. Free space! It's like playing bingo and getting the free space. Yeah! that means I don't have to do anything. Robbie's just gonna paste in an older track. Um, do. Although he wants me to start remixing each one, so it's not just a paste. I think that's a good idea. But let me skip over that one for now. But it does mean I don't have to write a brand new song from nothing. It's nice. There's so much music in the show that you can't like writing the entire thing from scratch. There's usually at least one or two pastes. Because we now have a library of crazy good stuff that we can just throw anywhere. So you'll hear tracks that are repeated from episode to episode, but not every episode. Like the way Inspector Gadget always has the dun 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 dun. They're investigating and like stuff just got serious, but it's like, man, that's not a good situation, and they're just kind of it always plays the same song. We're not like that, but we do if there's a good cue, like a good Plaza Jam, a good Bodega Jam that's just really cool and it would fit in this particular scene, we'll reuse it because the rest of the episode just has so much to do. So it just saves us a little bit of time. And in that case, it's more of almost like a sound effect paste, but you're still placing and editing the music. Like Robbie still does stuff with it, but he uses existing stuff that I basically built up a library that we're starting to be able to draw from, but we're cautious about when we do versus doing new stuff. Because we don't want to just copy paste everything. Let's see. All right, let me read this silently and not out loud, because this is the most spoilerific paragraph I've ever seen. I remember this scene. And scene 8 and 9 segue into this theme. Okay, cool. Oh, yes. Yes. I've already done a lot of work on these cues for this episode, but it's mental work. It's planning stuff, and I didn't touch the early cues. It was one later on that I was like, I need to plan this out. I got to think about it. So I've already done some of the thinking about this stuff, and I know more or less where to turn, what to do. Okay, so the first cue begins at scene 6. And when we see a certain thing in the scene, we're going to start with something that feels military in theme. So start with the snare drum built up. Scene 8 and 9 segue into character's theme. I don't think this is too spoily because it's not really related to the character as much as it is necessarily, as much as there's an influence for their fabulousness. So think Sailor Moon and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. It's got to be like, yeah, I'll tell you guys about influences, but not about the plot of the episode. Think Sailor Moon and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. So it's got to be like themey / not quite the transformation sequence, but like that upbeat sort of synthy sound that they have going in some parts of the episodes. Like not full on transform, but sort of halfway, mostly there. And Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, the super ritzy kind of feel. I could do that. It's a string ensemble, in other words. Maybe some pizzicato strings. All right, scene 21 ends when she turns to other character. End with a sting that will call. It will call forward into the other theme that will be done later in the episode. So I'm gonna be writing a theme for the relationship of two different characters in the show. I'm racking my brain here trying not to spoil anything. Always err on the side of caution, but I'm gonna write a theme that accentuates the relationship of two characters. And it's not that kind of relationship, people. They're just friends, but they're very special friends. And I'm gonna write a song for them. And so I'm gonna foreshadow that here. So that's the first cue I should do. And I think the reason I passed this one over is because I don't know what the friendship theme is gonna be. So I gotta write that first. I should do that first and then come back to this. I have a little, you know how in certain PDF apps you can like strike through, like put a red line through the thing. There's each one of these cues is its own line, its own paragraph, and so I just select it and strike through when I'm finished with it. So that helps me keep tabs on where I'm at in the episode. I can refer back to my notes that Robbie takes while we're doing the spotting session. He sits there on his Mac and just, taps away while we're like, well, scene 32. And I'm all like, haha, of course I can do that. Oh, shit. What am I going to do for that? It's always an adventure. But Robbie's he takes notes. He's the minutes guy. And so I read those minutes and notes later, and I can check back anytime. It's really convenient to have all that here. All right, scene 30. Let's start with scene 35. Give it an evil mystery sting. All right, that's okay. So let's load up scene 35. I'm going to load it up on this monitor over here so you can't really see it in case the video pops up somehow. Moment of truth. Here we go. Walk away. There it is. I'm going to make the video window nice and small so can you see your reflection? You can't really. But I'm not even going to risk it. I'm going to make it nice and tiny, postage stamp size. Because I know what this is in the episode. I've seen it a couple times now. But I still need to watch it to make sure that I'm synchronizing everything properly. Ah, yeah. Good. That's ready. All I'm going to say is scene 89 contains the sentence, think Bloodsport Karate Kid montage music. I can't make this stuff up. I get hired to do this stuff, like intentionally. They know what they're getting into and they want it. That's so weird. I love it. All right, you can't see the video. This is the video up here. This little black strip here. If I make it bigger, which I'm not going to do. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of the track. Can I hide the track? Hide selected tracks. Is that going to hide the video footage? No. It also doesn't work. Hey, whatever. As long as I keep this muted. If you ever see this unmuted and I'm like, hey, let's go back to work. Like, that's a big deal because that's the dialogue track that only I can hear. You guys can't hear the dialogue in the cartoon yet. Obviously, it's spoilerific. So I'm going to have to like mute my feed and listen back to the dialogue. And then I'll work without any dialogue whatsoever. You don't want to write music with the dialogue playing because it's like you can't hear whether that's your snare drum or your sax line or sax going or somebody going you're not going to hear it clearly over the top. So you want to mute the dialogue when you're composing, but it's important to listen to it ahead of time. Oh, I love this. I don't have to like skip past the color bars in the intro and the the show intro and all that stuff to just locate where I need to be. It's right there. It's one cue. It's so perfect. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm too excited. Scene 35. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That facial expression that character is making. I know what to do there. All right. Yeah. I'm going to start it on this beat because it transitions on the doop, not the beep. It goes cut. So I'm going to go. Ooh, creepy. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to do that now. So first things first, I got to decide which instruments I need in this track. Now that I have everything modularized like a boss, I can't believe it took me almost a year to get that figured out, but better late than never, right? None of that's actual. I was just humming randomly while I'm thinking of different music for this. And heck, Scrotum Nose can follow along and knows exactly which scenes I'm talking about and which characters are in the scenes. It's scene 35 when what's their face ducks down and is all evil looking. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like you don't even want to mess with this. I don't even need to hear the dialogue. I know what to convey here. Yeah. Yeah, and at VRTJK should be fine. Although it's honestly it's luck of the draw whether or not I'll even look that way and see it in my peripheral vision. I should have a ding that just goes off whenever somebody highlights my name. Ah, yeah. Okay. I'm going to call up strings first because this has to have a tremolo string, scary kind of, you know, kind of deal. So let's import the track archives we just made. Let's import strings. Boom. And let's import. I can't believe this is so logical and easy. Why did I not work this way before? Thanks for bearing with me, everybody, as I set all this up. But sometimes what really spurs you on to do the important organizational stuff is somebody trying to watch while you navigate your broken, stupid project. And then you're just like, enough, I can't do it anymore. I gotta do something about this. I think all I'm gonna need in this string is I think all I'm gonna need in this track, in this cue, is gonna be the percussion and the strings. Okay, let's go to bass section.